Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. My email address is still tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's still in the description below. It is still your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to me for pricing. I am tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a watch launched, or perhaps I should say updated, for 2018. This is the Seiko Presage SJE073. Now, of course, the Presage collection was launched back at Basel 2016, a collection from Seiko that would incorporate artisanal elements into an accessible watch line that would sit somewhat above standard Seikos and somewhat below Grand Seiko. So this is an upscale model line from Seiko, and that's reflected in every facet of the watch. In steel, the watch is 40.7 millimeters in diameter. The SJE073, only 10.1 millimeters thick as I measure it. Lug-to-lug, just measuring the case, 46 millimeters. If we include the end links, the total distance across the wrist is 48.7, and it has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, I will pop open the clasp. I will throw the watch on my wrist. I will put it there, and you can see just how it hugs the wrist. Now, this is not typical of Seiko watches, which tend to be durable and offer good value, but be quite thick, as many affordable watches are. Here, we have an incredibly slick, low-lying profile that'll fit underneath any kind of a cuff. And on the bracelet, again, my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, but you can see these lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. I think you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, making it a viable unisex option, and you definitely could if it were on a strap. The bracelet is nicely made. As you can see, it has a conforming end link to better mate it to the case, no daylight between them. Then it tapers as we move from the end link towards the clasp. You can see there's a medley of staggered link size, staggered link alignment, staggered link finish. And then in profile, you can see here pins and sleeves used to fix removable links. So if you want to swap these out at home, you're going to need a block and a punch, but they are very secure. That is one advantage of pin sleeves. They're hard to strip out and impossible, basically, unlike screws. And unlike screws, they don't back out. You can also see we have a half link on each side. So if you find your in-between sizes with the primary removable links, you have those two half links to fine-tune. Single fold clasp, thick gauge steel, twin trigger release, so it can't open accidentally. You have to press both of them to pop it open, giving you a great measure of security. The case is 100 meters water resistant, so this is a swimmable watch, and it features the company's legendary Zaratsu finish. So Zaratsu, that's basically the Japanese word for Zalitz machine polishing. This is a manual tin plate polish applied using eye-hand coordination and craft knowledge. The knowledge takes about 3 years to master. So though this is an affordable watch, it has a fully hand-finished case. Try to find a Swiss watch of comparable price that can match that distinction. We have a sort of polyhedron design that's designed to echo a lot of well-known polyhedron Grand Seiko case forms like the 62GS and the 44GS, and there's a combination of satin and polish for contrast. We have a bezel that is slightly stepped in from the case band, then you can see it is tiered, so it steps in several times to create the impression of a watch even thinner than it is, and it is quite credibly thin. There's media blast and polish on the crown. It is a push-down crown, but the watch is still 100 meters water resistant. We have what Seiko calls a textured and silvered dial, and indeed it is that. You can also see that we have spectacularly polished and faceted individual hour indices, the Seiko logo and the frame for the date. The dial furniture here almost as attractive as Grand Seiko itself. In fact, you could fool me. With the possible exception of the hands at center, everything here is indistinguishable in quality from Grand Seiko, and even with the hands at center, it's a dead heat. They also carry over one feature from the Grand Seiko watches, which is that the hand at center, the seconds hand, has been fire blued, not chemically dyed. Now, we do have a hacking or stop seconds function, which I will demonstrate here. So you can set the watch to a reference time by stopping that seconds hand. And then you have a quick set mechanism, so if you wish, you can rapidly cycle the date. Flipping it all over, this is why I said the model was updated for 2018. Out goes the old 6R15, in comes the thinner and more upscale 6L35. Now you can see this watch is a limited edition of 1,881 pieces, and that is symbolic of the year the predecessor company of all Seiko companies was founded, and it was Kei Hattori & Co. back in 1881, so this is a limited edition of 1,881 pieces. And that limited edition was because of the presence of the new 6L movement, which is an automatic winder. It has a higher beat rate of 4 Hertz, 45-hour power reserve, stop seconds, quick set, 26 joules. It's accurate to -10 seconds, plus 15 seconds per day or better, and then it is 3.7 millimeters thick, which means it is a full 1.3 millimeters thinner than the old 6R15. This is only 3.7 millimeters thick, which is solidly in league with a lot of the thinnest and finest tractor-style movements used across Swiss watches like the Zenith Elite, the JLC 889, or the ETA 2892A2, the last of which is 3.6 millimeters for example. And then you can see the finish is industrial but fun, and it's always fun to be able to see the beating heart of your watch, which features an Edelkrone style adjustment as well as an eccentric screw micrometric regulator. And again, all of this 100 meters water resistant, made in Japan from one of the most vertically integrated manufacturers in the world. They make case, dial, and movement, but they make more. They make their own shock protection. They even make their own lubricants. Alongside Rolex and Swatch as a group, this is one of the most vertically integrated manufacturers in the world. And if you love this example, reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.